Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make chai tea mix. I made this for the first time back at Christmas and gave it away as gifts, and everyone I gave it to absolutely loved it. And sorry if you hear crunching in the background, the dog has decided now is the perfect time to go eat. So if you hear jingling and crunching, it's the dog. So try and ignore that part. But Chris tried this when I made it at Christmas, fell in love with it, and I have been making a cup for him just about every single night. So when I make it, I triple or quadruple the recipe, but I'm going to give you guys the single for making just one batch, and then I'm going to show you how I make it because I have not seen anyone else on Pinterest or anything else do it quite like I do. There may be other people out there, I've just not read it. So you use 1 cup of the powdered milk. Now this recipe is all over Pinterest. You can look anywhere for it. There are so many different sites, so I'm not quoting one specific site I found it on because there are so many. I'll just throw that in there. But you use 1 cup of the non-fat dry milk, 1.5 cups of the unsweetened instant tea. Now the Lipton brand is the only brand I have found that is instant with no lemon. You have to be careful of that. Most of them have lemon flavor in them. Next, you're going to need 1 cup of the French vanilla powdered creamer. This one is sugar-free. I have only found sugar-free, but that works for us because we are watching our sugar. And then you're going to have 1 cup of the powdered coffee creamer. Now, you can see Great Value is the brand that I have bought, the Walmart brand, just because that's convenient, and I often do Walmart pickups, so that's the brand I'm using. Now, sweeteners. The original recipe calls for 1.5 cups of sugar. Like I said, we are watching our sugar, so you can use any sugar substitute. I have Splenda, I have a stevia blend here, and I have a monk's fruit. I personally prefer the monk's fruit. Chris prefers the Splenda, and since I make this for him, and he only has 1 cup a night, we go ahead and use the Splenda, even though I know that Splenda is not great for you. He just really likes the way it tastes, and 1 cup a night, it's fine. So we'll use 1.5 cups of a sweetener of your choice. Next is cinnamon, 2 1/4 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. Oh my goodness, 2 teaspoons. I guess my countertop was a little damp when I wrote this down. 2 teaspoons of ground ginger and 1 1/8 teaspoon of ground cardamom. So this is all you need. A large mixing bowl, and I have been saving all of my instant tea containers. This is what they look like with the label off, and that is what I store my mix in. Other than that, I am going to use my NutriBullet here because it blends it so much better. Most of the recipes just call for dumping everything in a big bowl, mixing it together, but I have found that if you run it through something like this, it blends it so much better. So I will show you how I go about doing that. Okay guys, so first off, I am going to put my powdered milk, which like I said, I'm going to be tripling. So I'm just going to show you the one measurement. So there is 1/2 cup. One of these packets is exactly 1 cup if you buy it in packets like this. Next, I'm going to add my tea mixture. And again, I'm going to show you just the one, and it's 1.5 cups, but I will be tripling. Next is the French vanilla, which is 1 cup. And these containers are really good to save if you want. Just take the labels off of them, and they make great storage containers to keep your mix in when you're done. 1 cup of that. And 1 cup of the powdered creamer. Okay, next I'm going to be adding my sweetener of choice, and this is 1.5 cups. Next is 2 1/4 teaspoons of cinnamon. There's 1. 2. And 1/4. Next is 1 1/8 teaspoon of cloves. There's 1. And I just fill my 1/4 up halfway, kind of approximate. And 1/8. Next is the ginger, and it is 2 teaspoons of ginger. 1. And 2. Last but not least is the cardamom. Now, I have seen lots of recipes where they put the white pepper or black pepper in. I have done that, but haven't really noticed like you really taste it. So I've just not been doing that, but you're welcome to if you want. Usually it just says like a sprinkle or a dash or something to taste, but I haven't been doing that. So I'm gonna put 1 1/8 teaspoon of the cardamom. It's 1. And 1/8. As you can see, my bowl is quite full. So I'm just gonna take my spatula and start blending it up until I have everything as incorporated as I can, just like this. I've mixed it quite a bit, and since I am not a huge fan of dirtying more than I need to, what I'm gonna do is scoop the mix into my NutriBullet container and blend it, and then I will fill up all these containers, and then once everything is blended, I will dump it all back into this bowl again, give it another thorough stir with the spatula, and then put it back into the containers so that I make sure that everything is evenly incorporated. If you had a large food processor and you wanted to do it that way, you could. I like this because I don't have to mess up and dirty that many things. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting it in here, blending it, and getting all of my containers filled up. Okay, it's in there, ready to go. Okay, first batch is blended. I'll just dump it in here and keep going until I have everything all blended up. Everything is all blended. It filled up about 2.5 of these tea containers, and I tripled it. So I think I'm gonna try and order the tea online, maybe at Amazon or something, and see if I can find it a better deal, because that really is the most expensive part of this, that and the cardamom. The cardamom is pretty pricey. Other than that, but you use such a small part of it. This is a really inexpensive thing. It is great as teachers' gifts, families' gifts, Christmas gifts. Like I said, we made it. Everyone loved it. So I'm going to take these, dump them back in the bowl, and give them another good stir. Okay, so now they have gotten another stir, and this may be an extra step, but I just think that it blends things really, really well to make sure that all of your spices are extremely blended, because you don't want your batches to taste different from each other. You want everything to be consistent. And another tip I will give you is do not drink the last, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch in your mug, because you are going to get a ton of seasoning. Even when you blend it like this, spices do not completely dissolve. So your last sip or two will be gritty if you finish off your cup of tea. And I think Chris may have his mug still in the living room. If he does, I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the tea that I made Chris tonight, and you will see in the bottom that there are some grains and stuff in there that no matter how much you blend it, there's still, see the dark bits down in there? That is not going to dissolve. Now I just heat up the water in the kettle very, very hot, and then I do 2 heaping tablespoons to a cup about this size, and I think it's perfect. So, but just trust me on this, don't drink the last little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this put back into their containers. Okay, I think that since we have fresh batches of this stuff, I'm going to make Chris and I a nice cup before bed. And when I say I do a generous amount, can you see that? You need a decent amount on the bottom of your cup. So, because like I said, remember, some of this is not going to dissolve. And then I'll just put one big one in this little cup. I have our steaming water here. And stir and enjoy. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and give it a try. Let me know what you think and how much you loved it. And don't forget, this makes great gifts, and don't drink the last little bit. I even put that on the notes when I gave it away. Don't drink the last little bit or you'll end up with grit. All right, guys, have a great day.